Hello everyone, it's me, Tom Storytime, back again. Please enjoy the story. If you like it, please give me a like and subscribe. Returning to the moment I was first framed. After being reborn, the first thing I did was let my girlfriend's junior treat a patient recklessly, while I secretly set up a camera to record everything in advance. In my past life, it was clearly the junior's incorrect procedure that caused the patient to miss the critical window for treatment and pass away. Yet, my girlfriend shifted all the blame onto me. I became a disgraced doctor condemned by everyone, lost my reputation, and was barred from the medical profession. Ultimately, I had my legs broken by Ling Xia's fans and died a miserable death in prison. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the scene of the initial multi-vehicle accident. Lu Ruyan was frowning deeply. The patient has pulmonary reflux. We need to perform a chest tube insertion as soon as possible. The road ahead is still blocked. We won't make it back to the hospital in time. Get me the puncture needle. Ji Boda, the junior who had just graduated, rushed forward eagerly. Senior, let me do it. I just learned how. He charged in, shoving me, the one currently bandaging the patient, aside. I stumbled from the push but remained silent. Lu Ruyan showed a hint of hesitation. Boda, this patient has a very specific status. If anything goes wrong, it will be a major problem. Perhaps I should do it. Lu Ruyan and I had been in a relationship for 3 years. We were both top students at school, but I had always been content to play a supporting role, giving up every good opportunity to her. Consequently, to this day, everyone still thinks Lu Ruyan is the medical genius who became a vice chief at a young age. Dangerous procedures were always defaulted to her. Specifically, this time the patient was the famous actress Ling Xia. She was nationally renowned for her exquisite, seductive appearance that maintained an air of innocence. Furthermore, the Ling family background was extraordinary, with deep connections in both legal and underworld circles and a ruthless reputation. If someone saved the life of the Ling family's eldest daughter, they would certainly be owed a massive favor. The reason Ji Boda was so desperate to show off was to take this chance to cling to her coattails. Oh, come on, senior. Ji Boda said quickly. Aren't you right here? You can just guide me from the side. All right. Lu Ruyan hesitated for a second before nodding. Although the situation was urgent, the difficulty of the puncture was not high. You step up. Thank you, senior. Ji Boda hurriedly followed her instructions. The patient had fluid in the lungs. Using a needle for drainage and timely evacuation is the standard chest tube procedure. Think carefully about this, I suddenly spoke up. Although the risk factor wasn't extreme, for a fresh graduate, even a small mistake in the procedure could put the patient in a more dangerous situation. In my past life, I had also warned them, but they both ignored me. At that time, seeing I couldn't convince them and thinking Lu Ruyan's presence would be enough, I left to treat other patients. After the procedure ended, Ji Boda was covered in blood, his face pale with panic and tension. Lu Ruyan was busy comforting him and told me to accompany the patient back to the hospital in the ambulance. But upon arrival, things went wrong. Because Ji Boda had performed the procedure incorrectly, it led to a pneumothorax, and he failed to report the abnormality in time. The patient missed the golden window and died. Such a stupid medical error, and the deceased was Ling Xia. In an instant, the Ling family exerted immense pressure, and her fans gathered at the hospital gates demanding justice. In my past life, I was naive enough to try and plead for Ji Boda, but the two of them testified in unison that I was the one who performed the procedure. They claimed they had tried to stop me many times, but I was so desperate to show off my skills and flatter the Ling family that I insisted on doing it. Even the accompanying nurse and driver stepped forward to testify against me. Coincidentally, the surveillance camera in the ambulance was also broken. I had no way to defend myself. The evidence was overwhelming. From then on, I was condemned by the public, fired, expelled from the medical community, and had my legs broken by extremist fans. What followed was a series of lawsuits, a heavy sentence, and being tormented in prison. When I died a tragic death, my ashes were scattered on a main road so that my soul would be forever crushed by vehicles and never find peace. After I died, My soul stayed by Lu Ruyan's side and watched as she and Ji Boda stole my medical achievements. Ji Boda became a medical genius overnight. I saw them walk down the aisle together. He held her tenderly. Wife, Lu Zhochuan is finally dead. Otherwise, there would have always been a thorn in my side. Lu Ruyan gave a gentle smile, stroking his face. Boda, on a happy day like this, don't mention that unlucky person. From now on, you must love me for the rest of your life. The pain was like a knife to my heart. These two didn't just kill me, they climbed to success using my flesh and blood. The next moment, I was reborn. I was back in the ambulance heading to the scene. My warning was still disregarded. Lu Ruyan glanced at me coldly. What are you afraid of? It's good for Boda to get some practice. I'm here, nothing will go wrong. Besides, Boda is very smart, unlike you. I was clearly her boyfriend, yet she didn't hesitate to belittle me to elevate Ji Boda. How ridiculous. I hid my resentful gaze and chuckled softly. I'm only considering the patient's safety. What if Ji Boda makes a mistake and the patient dies? Ji Boda frowned. Senior, how can you say that? I graduated with honors from a top-tier school, after all. Lu Ruyan looked at me, her eyes full of disgust. Stop relying on a few years of experience to bully a newcomer. Instead of spending time picking on him, you should go treat more patients. The nurse also chimed in for them. Dr. Lu, let Boda try. With Vice Chief Lu here, it will be fine. In this hospital, for some reason, everyone respected Lu Ruyan immensely. If she said 1, even the chief wouldn't dare say 2. I nodded and, just like in my past life, went to bandage other patients. Ji Boda called out to me triumphantly. Senior, instead of playing mind games, why don't you try to improve yourself? You graduated at the same time as my senior, yet you're still just an ordinary doctor. Boda, come here. Lu Ruyan interrupted him. Don't waste your breath on him. Let's perform the chest puncture for the patient first. She guided his posture while speaking in an earnest tone. You are different from him. It won't take 2 years for you to surpass him. With Lu Zhochuan's talent, being a resident doctor is his peak. I listened expressionlessly as Lu Ruyan spoke ill of me. My girlfriend of 3 years, whom I had discussed marriage with, now couldn't wait to drag me down to the bottom. Thinking back now, from the very beginning, she had always unintentionally mentioned this cute little junior with eyes full of smiles. I pretended to rest to one side, using my elbow to conceal my phone, leaving only the camera exposed to quietly record everything inside the ambulance. Due to the multi-vehicle pileup, the entire road was currently a chaotic mess. The two of them were performing emergency treatment, yet their faces were full of smiles, radiating affection for one another. I finally understood why Ji Boda had made such a low-level mistake in my past life. Their hearts weren't on the patient at all. It was a pity for Ling Xie. She originally only had a hematoma that would have been fine with timely treatment, but she was being delayed by this fool. After Ji Boda finished the procedure, his incorrect posture caused blood to spray all over his face, leaving him looking terrified. Lu Ruyan distressedly stroked his head. It's okay, Boda, it was just an accident. Come here, let me wipe it for you. Just then, the road ahead cleared. Lu Ruyan helped Ji Boda off the vehicle and then ordered me. Lu Zhochuan, get in. You go back to the hospital with the patient first. I didn't object. I quietly put my phone away and climbed into the ambulance. Upon returning to the hospital, everyone was busy until nearly 10 p.m. I was about to order food when a lunchbox was placed in front of me. Teacher, you've been so busy today, you definitely haven't eaten yet, right? It was Chun Xiaoxian, a student who had recently joined the hospital. Lu Ruyan had taken the initiative to lead Ji Boda, so Xiaoxian had been assigned to me. She had a round, fair face and was full of vitality. Thank you. I was just about to eat when Ji Boda walked in with Lu Ruyan. He immediately spoke up. Senior, you're something else. Everyone is busy and starving, yet you have someone bringing you a special meal. How charming. Little Xiaoxian brings you food and drinks every 3 days. You two really make a pair. Could it be that there's actually something going on between you? Everyone looked over with strange expressions. Everyone knew Lu Ruyan was my girlfriend. Chen Xiaoshuan's face immediately flushed red. Ji Boda, stop making things up. My teacher worked hard to teach me, and I saw he was tired, so what's wrong with saving a meal for him? Oh my, who knows if it's gratitude or if someone is trying to cling to the leg of our senior. I waved my hand. It's alright, Xiaoxian, don't pay him any mind. Some people only live through shady dealings, which is why they're so sensitive. Their minds are filthier than a sewer. You. Ji Boda's face turned bright red with rage. Lu Ruyan, standing beside him, frowned and looked at me coldly. Lu Zhuchuan, since when did you become so sharp-tongued? Did you learn that from the person next to you? I replied calmly. It was just a joke. Doesn't our little junior love to joke around? In the past, he had mocked me countless times before playing the victim and calling it a joke. Now, Ji Boda was so provoked by me that his anger was palpable. He suddenly rubbed his forehead, his steps faltering for a moment. Lu Ruyan rushed to support him, her face full of concern. Boda, what's wrong? Then, she immediately turned and roared at me, Lu Zhuchuan. Don't you know Boda is in poor health? Why are you still provoking him? Apologize. It's okay, it's okay. Ji Boda waved his hand hurriedly, his voice weak. Senior, I'm just too tired. I've always had slightly low blood pressure. Lu Ruyan immediately stepped forward and reached out to snatch the lunchbox from my desk. Boda's blood pressure is low. Let him have your meal first. You can go buy another one later. This absurdity made me so angry I wanted to laugh out loud. I couldn't tolerate it any longer. I immediately slammed the lid shut and pulled the box close to my chest. Why should I? I've also been hungry all night. Lu Ruyan's frown deepened. Stop being so cynical with me. Boda and I aren't as terrible as you think. You're a man, you should be used to working late and being hungry, but how can you have the heart to bicker with a newcomer? Give me the food. My frown tightened as I stood up, clutching the lunchbox. This caused Lu Ruyan's face to darken to a terrifying degree. She barked in a low, angry voice, Lu Zhuchuan. I am your superior. I am ordering you to give your meal to Boda. When moral pressure failed, she turned to professional pressure. I remained indifferent and ignored her. Ji Boda played the victim again. It's okay, senior, let's not fight with him. That's a meal sent by his little mistress. I wouldn't want to eat it anyway. That bastard made me grit my teeth in anger. Right then, the chief suddenly pushed the door open with a worried expression. Where is the attending physician for the patient in bed 2, Ling Xie? Come here now. Lu Ruyan and Ji Boda's expressions changed as they hurriedly followed. Ling Xie had suddenly suffered acute heart failure. The entire emergency department became as chaotic as a boiling pot of porridge, yet I remained seated, leisurely eating my meal. Sure enough, everything was happening exactly like in my past life. The chief was experienced, after all. He immediately deduced that someone had performed the chest tube procedure incorrectly, causing a pneumothorax which led to heart failure. He roared in fury, "Are you all just eating and not working? When performing a chest puncture, don't you even know the basics like not letting outside air in? Everyone, get in here for a meeting right now." Somehow, news of Ling Xie being in critical condition leaked, and the internet exploded. Fans blocked the hospital entrance, screaming, and the Ling family had already sent representatives. The first to arrive was a lawyer in a suit and gold-rimmed glasses, who said sternly, "If anything happens to our young mistress, your hospital won't need to stay open anymore." The director was terrified and demanded that the chief find the culprit who had botched the procedure. If this wasn't handled well, everyone in the emergency department would be packing their bags. During the emergency meeting, I saw Lu Ruyan in the corner of the room, patting Ji Boda's back to comfort him. His eyes were red as if he had just finished crying. When they saw me enter, their eyes shifted toward me with hidden meaning. I knew they were planning to pin the blame on me. Chun Xiaoxian sat down beside me and asked in a low voice, "Teacher, who actually performed the procedure today?" At this moment, the meeting room was filled with the sound of hushed discussions. It definitely couldn't be Vice Chief Lu, she wouldn't make such a basic mistake. Lu Zhuchuan has been at the hospital for over 2 years and has experience. Surely he wouldn't go that far. Then it can only be Ji Boda. No one was a fool, but I knew Ji Boda's most outrageous move was yet to come. The chief looked coldly toward him. Ji Boda, was the chest puncture done by you? Ji Boda immediately choked up. I know everyone has always doubted my medical skills. At the scene, I did say I wanted to try. But Senior Lu saw that my experience was insufficient and advised me to give up. He suddenly raised his hand and pointed straight at me. It was him. This time, the chest puncture was done by Lu Zhuchuan. In my past life, when I heard this false accusation, I stood up in a rage to confront him. But now, I only looked at him with a deep, meaningful gaze. What are you talking about? Wasn't the person who performed the procedure you? You said you had just learned it and were eager to try. I even kindly warned you, but Vice Chief Lu insisted that nothing would go wrong with her there. In the end, you were sprayed with blood and then told me to head back alone in the ambulance. A person shouldn't be so shameless. Lu Ruyan, aren't you going to say anything? Lu Ruyan looked up at me, her face cold and resolute. Even though I am your girlfriend, don't think for a second that I will cover for you. Lu Zhuchuan, you did the procedure yourself. Do you dare to do it but not dare to admit it? Everyone broke into a heated chatter. Lu Ruyan continued to pile on. I was supposed to perform the procedure, but Lu Zhuchuan volunteered, saying he wanted to do it. He claimed that the chance to form a connection with the Ling family was too rare and asked me to let him have it for the sake of our relationship. I truly never expected a doctor with 2 years of experience to make such a basic mistake. I let out a smile devoid of any joy. Haha, 3 years of love, and it turns out my partner is just a scumbag in human skin. Fine, then check the surveillance footage. Ji Boda sneered. What a coincidence, the surveillance camera is broken. We even suspect you intentionally tampered with it. The director slammed the table in a rage. Lu Zhuchuan, I didn't expect you to be such a profit-driven person. I glanced at him. In this hospital, only a few people had the authority to access camera records, and the director was the most likely candidate. I replied nonchalantly, what's the rush? Aren't there still witnesses? Where are the driver and the nurse who were with us? Then let it be as you wish. Ji Boda said, his face full of excitement. Unsurprisingly, both the driver and the nurse lied exactly as they had in my past life, insisting that I was the one who performed the procedure. Now, what else do you have to say for yourself? Lu Ruyan shouted coldly. I truly never expected you to be this kind of person. The colleagues around me looked at me with strange eyes. Being turned on by everyone. This was the exact feeling I had to endure in my previous life. Call the police. The director roared. The culprit has been found. This kind of hack doctor doesn't deserve to stay in this hospital. Right then, a nurse rushed in frantically. It's bad. The patient Ling Xie has lost too much blood. Her condition is extremely critical. Everyone hurried toward the intensive care unit. Before leaving, Lu Ruyan didn't forget to cast a glance at me. Lu Zhuchuan, I am very disappointed in you. Disappointed my foot. I really wanted to kick her right then and there. The face I once loved most now looked utterly repulsive to me. At the emergency room, the chief's face was as white as a sheet. It's over. By the time the pneumothorax was discovered, it was too late. Notify the family, we've done our best. It's you. Ji Boda pointed at me and screamed again. It's because you botched the procedure and then hid the truth that she's dying. The director said coldly, Lu Zhuchuan, wait for the police to arrive. You are no longer fit to be a doctor. The Ling family's lawyer also stepped forward. You are suspected of murdering our young mistress. Prepare to receive a lawsuit. At that moment, a worried voice called out from outside, out of the way. The Rh-negative blood is here. Hurry, emergency resuscitation. The person who arrived was Li Rue, my colleague. She looked at everyone with confusion. The blood to save actress Ling is here, hurry. She's hemorrhaging. If we don't save her now, it will be dangerous. Ji Boda looked at Lu Ruyan in shock. Senior, did you call for this blood? Lu Ruyan was also stunned. No. We haven't even had time to check with the blood bank yet." She frowned, then turned back to point at me. "You, the culprit, don't you dare sit there acting happy. You still have no right to be a doctor. Prepare to pack your bags." I watched the blood bag being taken in, and the last bit of worry in my heart finally vanished. Luckily, I had asked Li Rue to bring it over just in time. Now that all the people who framed me were here, I had nothing left to worry about. "Don't be in such a hurry," I said with a bright smile. "It doesn't matter if the ambulance camera is broken, because my phone camera isn't." Initially, I only intended to record the heroic actions of our little junior during his first procedure, but who would have thought I'd accidentally save vital evidence to protect myself? After speaking, I took out my phone, opened the video, and handed it to the Ling family's lawyer. Upon seeing the footage, the lawyer's face turned pale, and everyone around was stunned. In the video, Lu Ruyan and Ji Boda were flirting and exchanging looks while performing the procedure sloppily. Ruyan held Boda's hand, pointing out the position in a playful, mocking manner. If you didn't know better, no one would think they were saving a life. Ji Boda was even busy telling jokes that made Ruyan laugh radiantly. Their minds had long since left the patient. When the needle was withdrawn, blood sprayed across Boda's face, making him scream in terror. All three of them, including the nurse, scrambled to wipe away the blood, forgetting the most important task of sealing the wound, which allowed air to enter the lungs. I calmly looked at Lu Ruyan and Ji Boda, whose faces were now distorted with fear. I didn't want to make a scene. "But Lu Ruyan, we've loved each other for 3 years. It's one thing for you to keep a younger man behind my back, but now you want to destroy me along with him? Doesn't your heart ache?" At this point, my eyes turned red. These were real emotions after all. I felt a pang of sorrow for my wasted youth. As a doctor, at the moment a patient needed emergency care the most, you were busy being in love? It's madness. And as for the rest of you... I turned to look at the nurse and the driver. "The truth has come to light. Do you owe me an apology?" The nurse murmured, "But I really saw you performing a procedure in the ambulance." I laughed coldly. That was me performing a second puncture to clean up the mess of an incompetent fool. If I hadn't vented the air in time, would Ling Xie have even survived long enough to reach the hospital? "I originally intended to save some face for you, Ruyan, but you threw it away yourself." The meeting room descended into chaos. Colleagues began to criticize them. "So that's the truth, Lu Zhochuan is so pitiful. A girlfriend keeping a younger man and then framing her lover, how disgusting." Public opinion completely shifted in my favor. I looked at the director and the chief. Now that my name has been cleared. If it weren't for me, the Ling family's young mistress wouldn't have kept her life. "Director, chief, I truly feel disheartened." I intentionally rubbed my wet eyes. Who doesn't know how to play the victim? Qin Shaoxian handed me a tissue with deep sympathy. "Teacher, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you just now." The director's mouth went dry. "Mr. Lu, please calm down. Let us investigate this matter." "I will let the police investigate," the Ling family lawyer roared. "You people made a mistake and then dared to frame someone else? Expect a court summons." Previously, the news of me being a hack doctor had been leaked online by someone, causing me to be viciously insulted on the hot search list. The leakers were none other than that couple. Lu Ruyan still stubbornly sneered. "You did the second puncture, so who knows, maybe you were the one who caused the pneumothorax?" That video doesn't prove the patient's condition at that exact moment. The director's shielding of her made me suspicious of their relationship. But then, Ling Xie regained consciousness and was moved out of the ICU. The Ling family specifically designated me as her primary attending physician. Today, while I was checking her wounds, Ling Xie was happily eating an apple. She suddenly asked, "Dr. Lu, how did you know my blood type in the ambulance?" I was taken aback. She smiled brightly. "I woke up for a moment then and heard you on the phone requesting an urgent dispatch of 1,200 cubic centimeters of Rh-negative blood. If it wasn't for you, I'd be dead. How did you know?" I fell silent for a second, then made something up. "I looked it up online." "Really? Then what's my zodiac sign?" she asked suspiciously. "I don't know." Ling Xie sighed. "I thought you had a secret crush on me. Am I not beautiful?" You never smile at me. I thought you were playing it cool to get my attention. I found it absurd, even though she truly was very beautiful. She wanted to give me a reward, but I refused. Your fans have given me enough already. They almost built a shrine for me online. You'll be discharged next week. Upon hearing this, the actress lay back down, moaning and pretending to have a heart attack. I silently walked away, having no desire to entertain this drama queen. As for G. Boda, netizens dug up every scandal from his past, from peeping at female students in the showers to seducing his seniors. He was chased and beaten by Ling Xie's fans whenever he stepped outside. Yet, strangely enough, he continued to post photos bragging about Lu Ruyan driving him around in luxury cars. One photo accidentally revealed a car worth over 2 million yuan. Netizens pointed out that Boda came from an ordinary background, meaning the car belonged to Ruyan. I was stunned. For 3 years, she had feigned poverty to receive financial aid and let me provide everything from her clothes to her cosmetics. I had eaten bread and pickles for 2 months just to buy her a decent professional outfit, while she owned villas and luxury cars. My phone rang. It was G. Boda calling from Ruyan's phone, his voice dripping with triumph. "Senior, did you see my post? My senior is incredibly wealthy. She hid it from you because she was afraid a gold digger like you would never leave. How pathetic. All these years you thought she was poor. When we get married, we'll be sure to invite you to the head table." I hung up, my heart heavy. It turned out I wasn't just cheated on, I had been used as a payment tool for 3 years. Just then, Ling Xie called me to her room again. "Come here, I want to show you something interesting." She handed me a photo. It was a picture of the hospital director with Lu Ruyan when she was a child. Hot scoop, my lawyer dug up. These two are father and daughter. She's his illegitimate child. Want to make a deal? I immediately shook my head. I don't have any money. Does this lady look like she's short on cash? Ling Xie rolled her eyes at me. You spend so much time stuck in this hospital that I almost forgot I'm a superstar. After a typical back-and-forth bickering session, she waved her hand to get to the point. I have enough evidence to prove their biological relationship, along with even more explosive news that will ensure everyone involved in framing you is sent packing. But you have to agree to one thing. I frowned. What is it? Ling Xie pursed her lips. Haven't thought of it yet. I'll tell you when the time comes. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded in agreement. After all, I was just a lowly doctor. I couldn't possibly match the resources of the Ling family's heiress. If I investigated this myself, I would never be able to uncover these earth-shattering secrets. Soon after, a viral news story broke online. Lu Ruyan, the female doctor from the multi-vehicle accident, was actually the illegitimate daughter of the hospital director. Under her biological father's protection, she had been allowed to keep her job after a severe malpractice incident. Once this news broke, the director's image as a model husband and father completely collapsed. His wife immediately filed for divorce. Following that, an even larger scandal was exposed. The director, along with several others in the hospital, had frequently abused their positions to collude with pharmaceutical companies, selling overpriced drugs to embezzle funds. The chief, the nurse, and the driver who had framed me were all on the blacklist. The amount of money involved was astronomical. The director was dismissed, and all his assets were frozen. While investigating chat histories, the police also discovered he was supporting 2 mistresses and had hidden nearly 10 million yuan with them. One of them was Lu Ruyan's biological mother. The rest of the culprits faced prison sentences ranging from several months to several years. The emergency department was suddenly empty, and the new director promoted me directly to the position of chief. To thank Ling Xie, I gritted my teeth and booked a luxury restaurant, selecting a bottle of wine worth 35,000 yuan. As I was waiting for her, a gaunt figure with deep dark circles under her eyes appeared at the door. It was Lu Ruyan. Seeing me, she rushed forward, forcing a smile. "Darling, I finally found you. Why haven't you been picking up my calls?" "We are finished. Is there any reason for me to pick up?" I reminded her coldly. "No." Lu Ruyan said desperately. "I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Can we get back together? I promise I'll treat you well." I smiled and shook my head decisively. Miss Liu, I have no interest. I have already commissioned a lawyer to gather documents regarding you and G. Boda's slander against me, as well as your fraudulent behavior in faking poverty to swindle my assets all these years. We will see each other in court. Now, please get lost. Lu Ruyan's face turned pale. I don't have any money. Don't be so cruel to me. All your assets are frozen, I know that very well. That's fine, you can use prison labor to pay me back. Just as I was about to call the police, a foot suddenly kicked her away. Move. Don't block the way to my boyfriend. Ling Xie walked up, looking at me with an impatient expression. You really are too attractive. Why do you keep letting this persistent sticky cake cling to you? Lu Ruyan looked at us trembling. Darling, can you ask Miss Ling to save me? Let me borrow some money. I was truly speechless at her audacity. At that moment, a disheveled and dejected G. Boda also arrived. Seeing me, he charged forward in a rage. Lu Zhichuan. You bastard, you're the reason Ruyan broke up with me, aren't you? I'll kill you. But before he could touch me, Lu Ruyan slapped him hard across the face. Get lost. If it weren't for you, how could I have lost everything? What did you say? You didn't say that when you were in bed with me. G. Boda also lost his mind and started hitting back. Ling Xie quietly pulled me out of the restaurant. Sorry about that, let's find a different place. On the way, I frowned and asked, why did you say I was your boyfriend? If your fans find out, they'll tear me apart. Ling Xie laughed brightly, wrapping her arms around my neck. For a genuine brother-in-law who saved their idol's life, I believe the fans will accept it. My requirement is that you must stay by my side. When did I agree to that? It doesn't matter. Since you accepted my help, you have to follow through. I felt both amused and helpless. Perhaps, receiving a confession from a superstar like this was an offer I'd be a fool to refuse. Afterward, I officially sued G. Boda and Lu Ruyan. With support from the Ling family's lawyers, evidence of the two of them assisting the director with bribery and pharmaceutical fraud also came to light. The net of justice is vast. Eventually, they were reunited in prison. My relationship with Ling Xie was made public. Her fans eventually chose to give us their blessing. A year later, I heard that Lu Ruyan couldn't handle the bullying in prison and had completely lost her mind. G. Boda also suddenly fell ill and died behind bars. Ling Xie whispered to me that clues suggested it was all the work of the director's ex-wife, a woman who detested the two of them for destroying her wealthy life. This news was wonderful. It turned out to be the most meaningful wedding gift for Ling Xie and me.